Evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. My name is Stan the Man, and you have tuned into the Sullivan Report here on a Sunday evening. Well, I'm back again, y'all, with another interesting story. And what I want to do is get right to it. Today, we're going to talk about African kings apologizing for their role in the slave trade. Let's get right to it.
Feeling lonely and looking for a significant someone, but dating sites don't work for you?
The news this evening, an apology for the slave trade from an unexpected place. Today, delegates from several African nations read apology letters from tribal leaders.
Well, they say they're sorry for enslaving and trading fellow Africans to nations around the world. KSHB 41 News reporter Leslie Dellisboy was there and shares their message of healing.
Reaching across oceans. In song and with letters.
It is very deep and painful to even talk about it sometimes.
Remembering the dark past and the role some African chiefs played in the slave trade.
The apology of the awareness that there is a broad culture that contributed to this travesty of enslavement.
This apology is directed specifically to people of, not people of color, Black people, African people, people who have been dispersed in all parts of the world.
Delegates from African countries extending a sincere apology for the actions of their ancestors.
Some African chiefs, in violation of their sworn duty to protect the interests of the people as well as those yet unborn, and will kidnap, sell, trade, and otherwise negotiate for the transfer of their own people to foreigners.
Asking for forgiveness from their estranged African brothers and sisters.
This opportunity today gives us a chance to have the most important of conversations that must happen between our people in addressing the transatlantic slave trade that forever changed people of African descent from continent to continent.
Thinking about the past and its impact.
When you look at a Black person and you can't know where they're from, that's the heartbreak of being a Black American.
Reflecting on the future.
We have to face up to the things that we are part of and understand why it happened. Because once we can do that, then we can move forward to the next level.
Till earth and heaven.
Opening up a new chapter of love, life, and healing.
I now know that they acknowledge, they being in Africa, acknowledge that I'm a sister, that I am a mother, that I am a descendant, and not separating me from the history, not separating my journey of 400 years just because I landed here. Ashe!
In Kansas City, Kansas, Leslie Dulles for KSHB 41 News.
Yeah, and
July 1st.
it's important to know that that they do recognize the fact that they sold us into slavery, you know. And I've seen on one of these programs where if it hadn't been for the African leaders over there, the colonizers could not have got the slavery off. You know, although the abduction, they couldn't have done it without the help of those African kings. I guess it's just a matter of greed. Even way back then, you know, corrupt leaders, a whole host of things went on as far as them selling us into slavery. Here's Muammar Gaddafi talking about his apology and involvement in the slave trade. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Taxes.
apologize and express my deep sorrow
الانتظار والتأسف الشديد للسلوك الذي سلكه
for the conduct of some Arabs, especially the wealthy among them, towards their African brothers. The wealthy Arabs treated their African brothers in a disgraceful way in the past.
ممارسة مخجلة تجاه إخوانهم الأفارقة حيث
They brought children and took them to North Africa,
وجلبوهم
to the Arabian Peninsula, and to the other Arab regions.
بقية المناطق العربية اللي تقع بين هذين الإقليمين واستعبدوهم
They subjugated them and traded in them in the most brutal fashion, to tell you the truth. They engaged in slavery and in human trafficking. In the most brutal fashion, to tell you the truth.
مشين الحقيقة
We are ashamed, along with the African brothers, when we recall this.
الأفارقة عندما نتذكر هذا
We are ashamed of those who behaved in this manner, and especially the wealthy Arabs, who viewed the African brothers as inferior slaves.
A little history about Mr. Gaddafi. You know, back when he was alive, I was like with everybody else, and when he was killed, I wasn't happy about it, but I wasn't sad either. I just thought that he was an Arab that was, you know, a not good Arab. He was a person that was not good for the world. But come to find out, the reason why he was killed was because he was trying to bring all of the African countries together as one country. And we know that that is the biggest fear that that they have about Black people. They don't want us. They don't want to see us come together. Even when Africans come to the United States on visas or whatever, you know, they tell them to stay away from the African Americans and how bad we are, and we would get them in trouble, and we're no good, and you know, and this and that, and that's the first thing they do. They tell them to stay away from us, and a lot of them believe it until they get around us and find out that it was a lie. And that's why he was killed, because he was trying to get all of the African countries together as one country. You know, it's like a hand. If you ball all your fingers up into one fist, is more powerful than a slap. I got that analogy from one of my cousins, and it's true. But yeah, that's why he was. That's what. Yeah, this was a real, very deep brother.
This is no different from the way the West, America, and Europe behave towards the Africans. They will hunt them like animals, treat them like slaves, and act like colonialists. They engaged in colonialism and exploited them. And this continues to this day. We extend our apology and express our sorrows for these acts.
We'll do one more, see where we are. African leaders apologizing for their country's role in the slave trade. And here's Rishi Sunak refuses to apologize for Britain's slavery record. Let's see what's going on here.
month marks 23 years since the passing of the late great Bernie Grant, a former member of this House and the founder of the UK reparations movement in the UK. In his last Prime Minister's questions before his death, he asked for an apology to the people of African descent, living and dead, for our country's role in slavery and colonialism. But since then, prime ministers and heads of state have only ever expressed sorrow or deep regret. These are not sentiments that are befitting one of the greatest atrocities in human history. And there's been no acknowledgement of the wealth that has been amassed, or the fact that our country took out the largest loan it ever has to pay off the slave owners and not the enslaved. So I want to ask the Prime Minister today if he will do what Bernie Grant asked all those years ago, what I have asked and what countless others have asked since, and offer a full and meaningful apology for our country's role in slavery and colonialism, and commit to reparatory justice.
Well, no, Mr. Speaker. What I think our focus should now be on doing is, of course, understanding our history in all its parts, not running away from it, but right now making sure that we have a society which is inclusive and tolerant of people from all backgrounds. That's something that we on this House, our side of the House, are committed to doing and will continue to deliver. But trying to unpick our history is not the right way forward, and it's not something that we will focus our energies on.
There you have it. All he had to do is say, I apologize for my country's role in the African slave trade. It took him longer to say what he said than for the apology. Yes, my brothers and sisters, you know, it's happening. You know, it's slowly happening. We are being recognized, at least by the African leaders, about their role in the slave trade. Yes. And it's important to know that we are seen as a broken people because of the slave trade. Yes, we are. My name is Stanley Mann. This has been Real Talk. I mean, this has been the Sullivan Report. The Real Talk was my other show. It's my other show. This is the Sullivan Report, everybody. And I'll see you next time. Have a good week ahead of you, everybody. Peace.